Rocky, Rico. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with the Critters, where we live stream on Sunday mornings, right here on the Animal Behavior Center's Facebook page with an array of topics focusing on behavior, the science of behavior, using applied behavior analysis, training using applied behavior analysis, positive reinforcement, and enrichment. Our motto here is we empower the lives of animals and the people that care for them. And we do that all over the world through our live streaming services, where you can find out more about those on our Facebook or our website, theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. You can also find more information here on our Facebook page, Peekaboo to You, Rock, where you can also sign up for our email newsletter list. And if you don't want to miss an episode of Coffee with the Critters, you want to join our email newsletter list, because that's where we push out at least monthly our episodes of Coffee with the Critters, in case you have missed them. Hello, good morning to Melinda, and good afternoon to Judith. I forget, Judith, where you are located. Good morning, Sean. Good morning, Kim. Oh, so those that know the work that we do know that we focus on enriching the lives of animals, and we do that through training. Studies show if you're actually using positive reinforcement training, it's the animal's preferred form of enrichment. I know that for a fact, because that's what I do every single day of my life. I train and I focus on exhibit designs, enclosure designs, set up and based on the individual animal. And I focus on training. I love to train. And one of our workers here at the Animal Behavior Center, Lindsay Douglas, said, "I've never seen you happier and smile bigger than when you're training." Training is a form of communication, and that is how I interact with animals. And it was great. I mean, yesterday here I was scale training the red-billed toucans, and you know what? Nothing was coming out of my mouth. All of my cues and my bridges were all visual. I was cueing, I was talking to the people, and I was cueing the animals where I wanted to go. And the bridge was my hand coming out of my treat pouch. So we can use food as reinforcers part of the time. Don't rely on them all the time, because it won't be long until you find yourself pigeonholed where, pun intended, where you aren't working with a valuable reinforcer. So today's topic is on zoo enrichment. I provide a lot of enrichment to a wide variety of animals, including my dogs. And I have one sitting here right beside me who came to work with me today. But I want to show you, I was late getting this live stream posted started because this past week I was recording all kinds of enrichment we were providing to anything from bears, parrots, kangaroos, wallabies, tortoises, Arctic foxes, and I tried to cram all of them in here, and it's just not possible. It's not possible for one episode. So if you guys enjoy watching enrichment, hey Jen, let me know, and I will post more live streams focused just on enrichment. Not just, because enrichment is huge. Hey Jeannie, we can't have positive reinforcement training, and training use applied behavior analysis creates a really strong bond between the trainer and the trainee. And a lot of times both of them are trainers. I let animals train me as well, because it's a form of communication. But a lot of times it creates such a strong bond that it can also create stress. It can always create like a form of anxiety in the animal when you walk away. If you are Always more videos for Instagram too. Okay, Therese, I'll get you some videos. So when we're training, the animal can become very anxious when we walk away, because if studies are correct, and they are, and this is their favorite form of enrichment, why would they want it to go away? This is where creating enrichment through foraging, which I'm always creating, all of my enrichment outside of me training includes some type of foraging. It's important because it's a way for the animal to redirect their attention. Okay, so let's see. Here's something I was doing yesterday with the lemur. So a lot of you may have seen this toy. I have this toy at home for my dogs. But one of these was donated yesterday, and I was like, which animal do I want? Primates were coming to mind because they could grab and pull this rope out. So the bottom of this bottle twists off, and you can put food in there and twist it back on. And as long as the animal can't untwist this bottle, they have to tip it upside down. And when they pull and manipulate that rope, the food falls out. Hey, Diane. Hey, Emma. Hey, Iris. Hi, Tim. All right. So I'm like, I work with lemurs a lot. And I know that they aren't necessarily the best with their hands with a lot of other animals I've worked with. So I'm like, how am I going to shape this? So I need them to know that there are grapes inside. So in the beginning, I knew this was going to be too complex for them to manipulate with their hands to get the grapes to fall out, to manipulate that rope and get the grapes to fall out. I could have made it easier the way I hung it. So I ended up walking in, and I have video. I ended up walking in yesterday and just showing them, but I put this grape in the top just to make it so it paired the top of this bottle with the grape. Boom, immediate deliver of reinforcement. All right. And then so I sat with them and showed them, making it very easy. So was that Dill just got the grape out of the end. And then see, you can see Dill manipulating the end, and I knew their hands are too small.
There's grapes inside.
And not agile enough to be able, you see there's Pickles pulling out the rope. She can smell the grape juice on the rope. She's starting to manipulate, to try to figure it out, but I knew they would abandon this quickly. So I'm trying to get the grapes to fall out and manipulate the camera. I should have taken in a tripod, because that's what I would have done, was shove the rope back in.
Well, you gotta do it.
So as the grapes accumulate at the end of that bottle and they pull the rope out, then the grapes will start falling out. But they didn't understand that. And here's Dill. Help me. How do we figure this out? So then I tipped the bottle and made it easy for the grapes. You can see the grapes right there at the end, and I'm holding the other end. And Pickles is down at the bottom going, oh, this is great. Grapes fall out. Dill does all the work. So what I'm actually creating is a conditioned reinforcer. I don't know if this is going to show up. Let's see. Nope, error occurred. But all this next video showed was I'm consistently taking that rope and pushing it back in, tipping the bottle like this, and you see them quickly grab the rope, boom, grapes fall out. I push the rope back up. They immediately start grabbing the rope to get the reinforcers to come back out again. So here's another one. This is Boomer. These are Boomer balls that we ordered online. They're really hard balls. They have one opening. We can drill more openings in them if we wish. Would the bottle with the rope be good for parrots? Yeah, maybe, but I would really pay attention, Nancy, that this rope, when I'm buying rope, there's certain type of rope that I buy because rope will fray. And when this rope frays, I want it to fall apart so it doesn't create all these loops where parrots and numerous other animals, those ropes start to fray. They can get it caught on a fingernail, toenail, arm, head. So I'm always really cautious with rope. And when I'm using rope, I will use one particular type of rope for parrots. But all enrichment should be supervised. I know we don't supervise all the time. Accidents can always occur, but something really sad to see is an animal without enrichment. Things we do in our daily life, accidents can occur, okay? But we do them anyways because they're enriching. So what we did is we took these boomer balls, and here you'll see Lindsay with her assistant Rocky, and on the other side of that play gym is Marula, covering these boomer balls with peanut butter, okay? So we put gloves on, covered them with peanut butter, and then I don't know what that toy is called, but you can Google it, find it on Amazon, go into your pet store, Nancy. They're really easy to find. Covered them in peanut butter, and then what we did is we put it in the freezer. We put it in the freezer overnight, came in the next day, so we set them on these cups, took apart our freezer, so these were big enough to sit down in our freezer, took apart, sat them on these cups, so one portion wasn't covered in peanut butter. And before we did that, we drilled these really huge, really strong eye hooks at the other end that are pointed down. And then we took them and put them into the black bear's enclosure. All right. So I didn't want to, when I'm incorporating enrichment, a lot of times you have to shape the behavior, the stages of foraging, so the animal understands, because if it's too complex, they will abandon it. All right. I've learned through my mistakes. So here's the bear enclosure, and these black bears are almost as tall as this barrel over here. I don't know if you can see my cursor on the right where it's pointing to basic. Right at the top of that, I hung one of the balls. And then over to the left, you'll see increased complexity with the arrow pointing to the ball partway up the tree. And this was great because it was a way I wanted the black bears have a really great sense of smell, as do lemurs, and I could watch them go in and start searching for this. They could smell it. So it was a great way to show people how bears can climb. So there was nobody at this exhibit when I first started the enrichment. Shortly after this, I mean, this lasted for quite a while, and a lot of the people visiting started running over to the black bear enclosure to see this. And these balls hung in there for quite a while, so it's not easy for the bear to get to. And I don't want to make it easy for the bear to get to because
it's all on the other side now.
I need duration. All right. So what I found with these bears is they would climb and they would get tired. You can tell they're not used to climbing and staying in trees for long periods of time. So they would climb and then they would get tired and they would come back down. And I just sat outside and watched. They would walk around for a little bit, so he's getting tired. He comes back down, and then he'd walk around, and a couple seconds later, boom, right back up. Now the other bear went immediately to the one that was really easy. So that's why when you're shaping foraging, you then need to continue to increase complexity as you see the animal understand. Because studies also show with predictability comes boredom. And here I have a video, but I can tell right now it didn't upload, but it's okay. We took this toy, and this is what the volunteers here at the Animal and Behavior Center do, is they're constantly making toys. We have 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have volunteers in here making enrichment, and don't make it so easy all the time. If you have, when I'm incorporating easy, it's when an animal is new to enrichment. It doesn't even have to be a young animal. I've worked with several older animals that they don't understand foraging. Animals that can be, if you're not keeping your animals used to change, a new piece of enrichment could be scary, could make the animal nervous. So you have to shape this. And sometimes, like if size makes the animal nervous, I'll start with a toy really tiny, and then slowly make it larger and larger. When I'm incorporating foraging, I make it really easy, like with the bears on the right, on the barrel, and then hang it higher. And then there's a way to even make it more complex, where we were going to do this with ostrich and, giraffe, where the same concept, you could hang that ball on a wire, and then that wire just moves across the whole enclosure. So as the animal's licking, the ball keeps moving, causing increased complexity. You could even do something like that on a wire, say maybe over top of the wolf enclosure, where you hang a piece of meat and shove it as fast as you can, and then just see a pack of wolves running after it. Keep these animals' minds active, okay? I know people like to watch animals. Watching them interact with their enrichment is key. You can see animals learn, and it gives you an opportunity to educate. I have given so many presentations that when I'm done, people will stand up and say, and come to me, and I don't know if this makes me happy or sad, but they'll say to me, wow, I just realized I am not doing enough for my animals at home. I'm like, boom, good. Education point made. So I have a video. Let me see if I can show it. It's not going to show. Oh, it is. Good. Okay. So this toy, the volunteers made for the highs, and I was really cautious, and I was like, the hyacinths are big, dopey macaws. And they're big goofballs, and they're very inquisitive, getting into everything. Sounds like your typical parrot. But this video I want to show you with Rocky I just caught the tail end of the video, but there's this toy is hung together by poly rope, and then it's knotted on both ends, and then it has a pony bead. And then another knot, and then a pony bead. And I sat there and watched Rocky. It took him this long to get to this cup and get this cup open. He had to untie a knot, pull off a pony bead, untie another knot, pull off another pony bead, then take the lid off of this toy. And then once he got inside of it, you can see him scrunching his beak together to look for the nuts inside the paper. All right, this is a great occupier of time. So the animal isn't screaming, isn't doing any type of feather destructive behaviors, isn't doing any type of mutilating. With a lot of animals, in enclosures, one thing you watch for are repetitive behaviors. A lot of times people will find repetitive behaviors funny, and they find it funny because they don't understand. When you get repetitive behaviors, it's usually due to, well, most times it's due to lack of mental stimulation. And we can create that mental stimulation through foraging. So you'll see things like circling, pacing, repetitive, like hand movement, well-practiced hand movement, licking walls, licking fences, pacing. And then it can get even worse than that. So when you see things like repetitive behaviors just starting, that is your cue. The enrichment is not adequate for that animal or the animal in that environment. Lisa says, I wish all zoos had such enrichment. It's so sad to see animals pacing in their enclosure out of boredom. Laura, what can you do? What can you do when you go to a facility that doesn't care for their animals? How can you get them to acknowledge the problem and fix it? You have to find that facility's reinforcer. What is their reinforcer? And then use that. So you're not training the animal, you're trying to get a message to the facility. I have many ways. You don't want to approach facilities. If you approach facilities blaming them, then they'll get defensive. Boom, end of conversation. So one of the 4 main factors of using aversives to control behavior, strike up a conversation with them if you want, and just say, I really enjoy watching animals have something to do. Or go to them and say, have you seen these videos of these different facilities giving their animals something to do? The place was packed. Okay. So if the place is packed, and that could be a key word to the facility. Well, I want my place packed too. If they can't get their place packed, you can tell them this place is packed because they show enrichment on the hour, whatever. Does that make sense, Lisa? And Tim says it's amazing to start an animal with foraging and watch how smart the animal becomes and how fast you can change the foraging to more advanced. Animals are intelligent. Every animal is as intelligent as it needs to be. And if it's not, you got to look at the caregiver, because the caregiver is then putting limitations on the animal. Now, I did have more videos. I've got a great one of the Arctic foxes. I wasn't able to get it in here, but don't forget, training is an advanced form of socialization, and studies show that the most complex form of enrichment for an animal is socialization. This is if we're working with animals that are socialized. So socialization, training, we got the hyacinths out with 2 people who have no bird experience, and we're like, come here, let's show you, and I didn't realize these 2 people had no bird experience until I was halfway through, and I was like, let me show you how to hold your arm. And then so we were training, syringe training, and then I had to show them how to hold the syringes. So how you hold your arm when you interact with an animal, how you hold a syringe is based on how the animal moves its body. So thanks, Quincy. Enrichment, foraging, training are extremely important. If you're going to have an animal in your care, these have to be implemented. If you guys want to see more videos, let me know. I am happy to do even more on enrichment. I'm getting ready to focus on enrichment in enclosure designs all day today. Okay, so this is why I teach the lemurs how to paint. When the lemur encounters stopped, so did the socialization, so did the interaction. I saw a change in the lemur's behavior, and it just made me sad, because I could tell they were begging and crying for training, and I can continue to train. So we had to bump up our training plans. But this is dill painting. This is a painting I do every single day with the lemurs, and they love it. And I'm starting it now with the quadrimundis. They're really enjoying it. And you know what? The people enjoy watching it. And when I see people come to an enclosure as I'm training or an assistant is training, boom, you know what? Educational moment, Keep training and talk and tell them what you're doing, how you're doing it, why you're doing it, because what they are seeing are eager animals. And I'm saying, if I can do this with the lemurs, if I can do this with the quadrimundis, if I can do this with the bears off contact, how can you implement this with the animals in your care? That is my primary goal, empowering animals and the people that care for them. Thanks, Shelly. I'm glad you love the videos. So I will work on getting another series of videos put together for you. I'll take videos all week. How do you propose helping them? Can you donate toys, food, time to help for the animals? Educate first. Yeah, and if you go into an organization, Some organizations don't care about enrichment. If you go into an organization and you see that they don't care, you can go in and help and show, you volunteer your time, see if that works. If you guys need to get a hold of me, feel free to email me at laura@theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. Also, with the lemur encounters come the paintings, so I can, when the encounters stop, I can keep these animals painting. I can keep training them, and we can send you the lemur paintings as well. And we're getting ready to incorporate even more, because why? Because it's training and the animals love it. So with that being said, feel free to reach out to me on our website, theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. For those of you that are involved in our memberships, you know that our most recent podcast was just uploaded on behavioral definitions, what they look like, how to put them together, how they're incorporated into behavior modification plans, including foraging, and why they're important and how successful they are in changing behavior. You can find that. You are very welcome, Lisa. You can find that on our website, theanimalbehaviorcenter.com, on our memberships, and that is where you will find how to listen to our plethora of podcasts, which people really enjoy. Also, keep an eye out for our webinars. I'm working on another one right now. If you are members, pending which membership you're in, webinars are no charge. But we're getting these ready for a presentation I'm going to be traveling to give. And I will also be live streaming this for those of you in our memberships and our projects. Good. Thanks, Adrian. I hope everybody has a great week. Thanks for being patient with me. If you need to get a hold of me, email me, Laura, Lara, at theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. Thanks for joining me. Boom, under 30 minutes, 27 minutes. You guys are all very welcome. I'll see you this week in the Project Center memberships, because it's time for our monthly Q&As. You are very welcome, Melinda. Everybody have a great week.